They've got to stop doing this to me. I don't understand how every week we can get together and every week I am constantly caught off guard by what I am about to watch. Welcome back, everyone. Somehow we've done it again. Just when I think this show can't possibly get any better and that maybe I should prepare myself to adjust my expectations, it completely blows all of my expectations away. We're going to talk today about A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, Season 1, Episode 5, In the Name of the Mother. When it comes to fantasy, I want to know, what are some of your favorite stories in the genre, and why do you think they are amazing? Why do they speak to you, and why do you feel that they are the best? Let me know down in the comments. This episode surprised me in the sense that it is a flashback. We still get a fight. The fight ended in a way that I did not expect. And it all leans into the themes of what Sir Duncan represents, what this whole story feels like it represents. This idea of standing up for the things that you believe in and trying to leave the world better than you left it. Doing good because you believe in good. Doing good for the sake of doing good, for the sake of changing things for the betterment of others so that they don't have to suffer as you have suffered. We need this show so much right now. I don't even know how to begin to describe how important I think this show is and how it embodies truly everything that I love about the fantasy genre. So somehow, even though I knew this episode was going to be the fight episode, it does all of that while doing an amazing fight and also giving us a flashback to when Duncan is younger and how Duncan comes to meet Sir Arlen, and also his previous relationship with a traveling companion that he had at the time living in Flea Bottom, and that is Rafe. And there's a scene that they have that I think actually speaks to the entire episode. It's when they're talking about this plan of getting out of there, and Duncan expresses some reservations. He says, I'm a little worried to leave because what if we go somewhere else and it's the same? What if it's worse? What if there is no place that we can go to that is better? And there's this beautiful idea that I had when I was watching this scene about how Dunk has always been this person and how over time he's formed into more of the man that he's become. But this is like the seeds of that, this mentality that there is no guarantee that we're going to go somewhere else and it'll be better than where we are, because this place sucks because of the world. So unless something is different where we're going, how can we expect it to be any different? Unless change happens, how can things be different? Unless we create the change that we want to see in the world, how can anything be different? And that is what Duncan grows up and aspires to do, wanting to become a knight and seeking to protect the innocent, as we see, which has led to this fight. So all of this feels like it's connected. And even though none of those things are said in that specific conversation, I just feel it's such a smart way to do storytelling where there are these threads that you can connect if you pay attention to who the characters are. And this is a show that demands your attention, which I love. It is a show where the storytelling, it doesn't give you everything up front. You kind of have to watch and find out, watch and come to your own conclusions, watch and draw your own connections. So that is something that I noticed that I really loved. But we'll of course talk about the fight because the fight was crazy. Going into this, we have this trial of the seven, which is two groups of 7 people fighting one another to find out who are 7 gods deemed to be actually just in their cause. And this is the legal proceedings, man. This is how we do it sometimes. So this is all by the book. And the fight that we go into, I thought I knew what was going to happen. I thought, you know, there's no way that Raymond's making it out of here alive. This guy was just knighted. He is so green. And yet, everything about this fight surprised me. I wasn't expecting Sir Duncan to be lanced so early. I was not expecting him to fall down and have a whole flashback. And then when he gets back into the fight again, it is messy in the best way possible. I gotta say, if you don't know this about me, if you're new to the channel, something you should know, I am a big fan of fight choreography. I love stunts. I love fight scenes. I love them. And I am someone that has experience doing some stunts, and I just love the whole process of it. I love how stunts can be used to tell story. When you do a stunt well, that's what it's doing. And this does all of that. The story of the fight is completely taken forward. The story of these characters is carried throughout what we see. The way that this fight is shot puts you right into the fight and allows you to feel and experience what the characters might be experiencing. And I do not usually like a shaky cam in a fight, but there is a way to do that. And this is a show that understands how to do that. I can't believe how well they did the storytelling here. It's just exactly what I wanted. And it's not just in the way that it's captured, in the way that it's shot, which also obviously part of that is the cinematography as well, and the direction and the way that it's written. And of course, our actors doing a great job and our stunt performers doing an amazing job, who are also actors, by the way. I consider stunt performers to be actors because stunts are a form of storytelling. So if you're doing it, you're an actor to me. Florian Robin, and we have CC Smith. So shout outs to both of these fine folks. We also have our stunt department office coordinator, Sarah Lawrence, and another fight coordinator, Trayan Milanov-Troy. So keep those names in your mind and watch out for these folks. And I'm definitely going to be going back to look at other projects that they've worked on, because the fight choreography in this is bar to none. It is so good. So these roles that we have on set, everyone coming together to give us the story of this fight, it's so good. And it's good because it also carries forward what the characters are going through throughout this fight and how it informs what kind of person they are. The determination that we see in Duncan to not give up no matter what happens to him. He suffers so many wounds in this fight, and it's so honestly harrowing to watch. I was watching it and I was like terrified for this character, and I know he goes on, but they really did a great job of creating a sense of fear, a sense of peril in this fight. You feel the pain that Dunk is feeling. Arian also is relentless, and he is just a force to be reckoned with on the battlefield. He does not give up. He's so confident. He's so princely, you know, in the way that he moves and how terrifying he is. And we also have Egg on the sidelines here cheering him on. And my goodness, Dexter Sol Ansel with his "wait" scream, it pierced my heart. I was tearing up just hearing Egg call after Duncan to get up. And then finally, when the horn's about to be blown in Arian's favor, just call for them to stop, scream for them to stop, to give Sir Duncan here a chance. And he does get back up, and he fights back, and he wins, and he punches Arian in the face with greaves on, like, ow, yikes. And he just beats him until he yields. And the other thing that I love is that you see in the fight how the wounds are affecting both of our characters, and how Arian has clearly never been hit before. That's something, or has never suffered a wound like this before, at least. So when he is wounded on his leg, he is struggling to get back in the fight after Dunk gets back up, and he knows he has to get back in there, but there's a hesitancy. The fear in him that comes out, you see him completely kind of shift into this idea of a person who has never known what loss is. And so because of that, he doesn't know how to rebound. All Sir Dunk has ever done his entire life up to this point, I imagine, is be forced to rebound and make the best of what he has. And so because of that, he wins. And we get to hear Sir Arian call that he removes his accusation. He's letting it all go. And that is the end of trial by 7. And Duncan lives by some miracle. You're able to rest. You get this moment of respite. Prince Baelor comes over and commends Duncan on his performance in the fight. And my helmet's a bit clipped. I need some help getting it off. And when he gets it off, and he talks about how it's just because his brother kind of messed up his helmet with his mace. His head is caved in and he just collapses. That helmet was probably just keeping everything in place enough that he was functional, and he wasn't aware of how badly injured he was. So even though Dunk wins the fight, we lose Baelor, and how tragic is that? And especially when you consider the only reason that Baelor is in this fight really is because of Duncan, the guilt that Duncan is now going to live with. What ramifications will this have? This was all done by the book, so I don't think that we can really blame anyone here specifically for Baelor's death in terms of legally. However, there will, I'm sure, be people that are going to have feelings about this and that are going to want to assume responsibility or blame people for it. So that I think is going to come into the next episode, because Baelor was the next in line to be king, and he was the hand of the king. So that's a huge loss. So overall, I love this episode, and I think everything in it represents what we're talking about here. This idea of why we fight. What is the point? Why are we here? And the idea is we fight because there are things bigger than us that we believe in, that we believe we can change the world, that one man standing up to a prince who did something wrong can change things. That's what this show is about. That's what this show is freaking about, and that's what I love about it. I also love that the title is a reflection of some of the foreshadowing. The beginning of the fight, Sir Lionel has this line, "So your mother must have loved you, like your mother loved you best," in the idea that Baelor is the type of person that plans for this idea of things working out, of things going well. There's an assuredness to him, and he believes that things are in his favor. Because he says, in essence, it's often men that have lacked their mother's love, that have missed out on that in some way, that really have a reason to fight, that have that momentum. And that's what we see with Dunk. And I've always had this saying, art is struggle. And I think that this episode also really spoke to my belief of that, about how struggle is unfortunate and it is tragic at times, but it really is powerful because it motivates change. It motivates growth. And that is what makes, I think, the world a better place, when we can grow and change in positive ways because we've been through stuff and we want to make things better as a result. We want to be better as a result. So that's what I have to say about this episode. I loved it dearly, and I hope you did too. Let me know down in the comments below where you're at with this one, if it's the best episode for you or where it falls. I'll see you next week for the finale, and I will also be back for a full season review where we'll talk about everything we've been through and how I feel about this piece as an entire season and not just each individual episode and how it stands up. I mean, it all rests on the ending, but spoilers, I feel like I'm gonna like where we're going. I feel like I'm gonna like it. And we were already greenlit for season 2, so I can't wait. I'll see you guys next week, and until then, friends, as always, stay nerdy. Bye! And if you missed my previous review of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, you can check that out over here.